Couples should touch base every single day with one another. And it's sometimes hard to have the right questions to ask, and that's why we offer conversation starters.
Hi, we are Dr. David and Theresa Mabry from One Another Marriage, and welcome to our YouTube channel. And yeah, today we're going to be discussing our conversation starter cards. So we basically have these cards that cover a variety of different topics. And today we actually chose 4 different categories that we're going to ask each other a question and just kind of engage in conversation on it. And we want to ask the question for your benefit as well, so that you and your spouse can also talk about the same question.
That's right.
So the first one will be on communication, and then we're going to have a question on sex and affection, and then finances, and then roles and responsibilities. So those are just 4 of the categories we chose. We also have spiritual beliefs, we have partner behavior, conflict resolution, quality time. So there's a lot of different categories of these questions, okay?
And you may have some resources as well outside of this. The whole point with these videos that we're making for you is to show you about how you can communicate and connect with one another on a regular basis. And you can use this video, or you can find some other resources as well.
Right. So if you stayed with us this long, please hit the thumbs up, and you can also subscribe to our channel, as well as hit the bell for notifications for when we drop a new video. All right.
Let's do this.
Are you ready? Okay.
I am ready.
All right. So we're going to go with communication first.
Okay.
So, and this could be for both of us. But,
okay.
All right. So what do I do that makes you feel that I'm not listening? So it's about your partner, right? So I'm going to talk about David. David will talk about me. So what do I do?
Yeah, I think for me, it's usually social media centric. So it's when you have your phone out and you're looking at that, and I'm trying to talk to you about something. Yeah. And usually what I do is I just pause and wait.
Right.
But there are some times that I would like for you to not be staring at your phone, checking social media or whatever. So yeah, that's a time for me.
Yeah. Well, is there a phrase or a code word that you could say that that lets me know that it's like, hey, I need your attention time?
Hey, you.
Yeah. Well, something like that. Or I don't know. I feel like like with you, sometimes I say, because we have the same thing, right? You're looking at your phone. So I feel like for you, sometimes I say, hey, I need to touch base with you on something when you have a minute. And then that's a signal.
That's what I was going to say, is that I feel like it's helpful, or at least I've tried to say more of, hey, let me know when you're done reading that.
Yeah, you do.
That way I don't get upset, because I have in the past. I've been like, oh my goodness, it's like she's looking at her phone again. And then I just came to the conclusion, it's like, oh, you know what? It's like she's having a conversation with somebody else, and I needed to wait and not interrupt, but just kind of let her know that I'm do the interrupt rule, what we have. But it's to be able to say, hey, let me know. I want to say something to you, so give her a fair warning so she can take her brain from that to me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one I think for people out there as well.
Yeah. Okay, next card, sex and affection. Okay.
Are you going to embarrass?
Ask this?
Oh, I'm asking this. That's right. That's right. So I'm going to embarrass you.
Oh, and on these cards, there's like 3 or 4 different questions. So we're just choosing one and just kind of going with that.
Yep. Okay, so here it goes. What kind of affection makes you feel most loved?
Aw. What kind of affection makes me feel most loved? Well, like today you came up and just gave me a massage. He rubbed my shoulders, and like whenever I can get just a little massage, that's always a good thing. So and that makes me feel loved, because it signals to me that you know that I carry a lot of my stress up here, and that you recognize I had come home from work, and so you just came over and just kind of like started rubbing my shoulders. And so that makes me feel I'm loved. But, holding hands or giving me a smooch.
A smooch.
A kiss, yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Great.
Okay.
All right.
we're going to go on to the next one for time's sake. So this one's going to be finances.
Okay.
If you could share one piece of advice regarding either taking on debt or paying off debt, what would it be? That's a good question. Especially we've been married for several years now. So if we're talking to somebody else, if you could share one piece of advice regarding taking on or paying off debt, what would it be?
Yeah, choose not to take on more debt. I think that's where we have been very conservative in our debt load, and that's been helpful. And I think paying off debt is budgeting it first, but every extra dollar goes towards that debt as it is incurred.
Right.
So
attack the debt.
I think the other thing for us that's been real helpful too is teamwork, that we're on the same page.
Right.
That I'm not out running up extra debt, you're not out running up extra debt without us kind of connecting on it and making those decisions together. That's been super helpful for our financial health overall.
Which we've always been on the same page, but I think early on in our marriage we had a couple of decisions to buy something that one of us bought, and we didn't really discuss it with the other one, and it was at that point that we realized we need to communicate better about this, because we don't want to find ourselves just doing that over and over again.
Yep.
And that was probably year 3?
Yeah, so couples out there, make sure you are connecting on your financial health. Your financial health will trip along or it will suffer, kind of worst case scenario, if the two of you are not kind of on the same page and you're talking about it. You got to be willing to talk about those things. The couples that we work with that have really strong financial health, it's not because they're rich necessarily, it's because they're on the same page, and they work really hard at being on the same page.
Right. That's true.
All right, one
more. This one's coming from roles and responsibilities. So...
I get to read this one. Discuss examples of when you've needed to or will need to adjust your roles and responsibilities.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
So I feel like we've had to do this in the last 2 years. So I primarily stayed at home raising our kids and homeschooling and just, primarily being in the house. And in the last 2 years, I've worked more outside of the home, which then in turn, David actually started to work more inside of the home. So all of a sudden we found ourselves flipping responsibilities, and I think one of the ways we adjusted was sometimes you take more time to do maybe like a meal prep than I have, and because of that schedule. So that would be one way. And I think just helping out with some of the household things necessarily, and then because I'm the one out maybe a little bit more, you've had me stop and maybe run a few more of the errands on the way home or different things like that. So we've had to adjust.
It definitely has had an ebb and flow through our entire marriage, and that's an important takeaway for all of you out there, no matter where you are in your phase of your relationship, and is that go with the ebb and flow of roles and responsibilities, and I think that we have seen that as well. So we hope these questions have been helpful for you today, and we encourage you that we'll put them in the discussion below and the video notes below, and so you could track those. And what are some other questions you think of? Put those in the comments below as well. What are some good questions that even may have spurred on from watching this video? So thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.